I had an encounter before with a student who recognized clearly that he needed psychiatric help. So on his own, he went because he was 18 or beyond that time. He went to a psychiatrist for consult. But when his parents in the in the province learned of this consult, they asked him to stop his medication, which actually had a very negative impact on his mental health. Okay? So he was crying, claiming that I needed the medicine to make me sleep and eventually to make me decide and to make me focus on my studies. But the parents said no. So what happened? It was very unfortunate. It was very, as a teacher, I was disheartened because he was pulled out from school. Okay? And eventually he was actually, take note of this one, he was actually asked to see, how do you call now, the local, or in our different cultures, we have, eh, the different manggagamot or mangagas. What else? Okay. He was actually placed into the care of a local manggagamot, an elderly. Okay. And the parents believe that he will become better if they will seek his help. So please take note that this is also our culture. It may be part of the macro system, but as a collectivistic, in our country, in our society, which is highly collectivistic, culture is of high importance. Okay? We really value what the elderly people will say. But please take note, okay, that at the core, it's actually the individual who will suffer, or if he will suffer or benefit if he will not receive, or he will get, okay, the mental health services available in our community or in our hospital. Okay, of course, in the hospital setting, you have, apart from the physical consult or the physical checkup, you also have their, again, if available, you have their psychiatric services or psychological services, and part of that will be debriefing, psychosocial processing. Okay? Let's say debriefing for people who experience traumas, okay, in our locality. So in our own hospitals here, we actually process people who experience different forms of abuse, let's say physical, sexual abuse, and even emotional abuse as an aftermath of economic or even physical or sexual abuse. Okay? So take note that psychological trauma or the emotional impacts, okay? There are emotional impacts of the different kinds of abuse that people may actually get from or experience from the neighborhood or in the community. Okay? With this, okay, I would like to trim it down or to zero in the family. Okay? We grow up, we actually grew up in different families who have, we actually practice our, we have our unique practices in the home. Okay? It's difficult to say that people who experience abuse, because if you're going to read through different researches or studies, sexual abuse, okay, and other form of abuse may actually be the largest, okay, has a largest negative toll in our mental health. Okay, and sometimes, sadly, okay, the abuse may come from the family. Okay, that's why I want, before we go out in the community, as individuals, we come from families. We grow up with our parents, or let's say, we, if not the parents, we have our caregivers. Okay? Please take note that, okay, before putting someone or this little child to a therapy center, let's try to ask ourselves as adults, do I need it first, or do I need it more than my child? Okay? Maybe there are certain baggages or psychological baggage that somehow, okay, unknowingly you're able to make your child feel, or you're trying to pass on this baggage unknowingly. Okay? But in the end, who goes first? Okay? So it's actually the child. Okay? So let's try to look into this one. Okay? Even if you are educators or health workers, we come from here. Okay? We come from a certain family. Okay? And we have varied experiences in our own families. If this is troubling us, okay, I'm not saying that you go for therapy. Okay? What I'm saying is that let's try to reflect on this one, because if it is affecting a certain individual, if you are single, and it's not, of course, that's not my concern because I'm single. No, you may actually pass this on to your workmates, colleagues. Okay? You may say that, wala akong anak, okay lang. Okay? I don't have a child, so it's okay. No, it might. Okay? Going back now to the how we define mental health, okay? Relationship to others. If you have very poor, okay, or okay, you often fight with people, okay, it might actually be an indicator, okay, of poor mental health. I'm saying might be. Okay? I am not, okay, saying that you are, okay, having a mental illness. No, that's why I had to describe early on what mental health is. Okay? To put, okay, the discussion, to anchor it in the, okay, how the World Health Organization actually looks into it, in a very holistic way, and I would like to contextualize it in our setting. Okay? So again, please, okay, the family, as we said, is a very vital unit in our society. It's a very vital unit in our community, and this is a very essential support group for our, okay, mental health. Okay? So with this one, okay, I would like to focus also in, please, let's try to remind ourselves, we cannot pour from an empty cup. Okay? It might sound a cliche, amor proprio. Okay? There is the negative connotation of self-love. Okay? But this time, I would like to promote a healthier version of it. Okay? You take care of yourself first, and then go out in the community to take care of others. But please do not forget, okay? Do not forget to take care of the family. Okay? That is, okay, the core, one of our core, okay, one of our core units. Okay? But please, okay, remind yourself, if you say, sorry, I'm so busy for that, I'm so busy for self-care, why can you not just squeeze in, let's say, 5 minutes of your time or break time for this one? If you ask me how, take note, this is rather a relative. Okay? How I take care of myself is different with how you will do it. Okay? So maybe this can be a game, virtually. You can take a picture of it. So there are random information or advice there. Let's say getting a warm bath. What else? Dinner. Okay. A quiet, or let's say a 5-minute quiet time with yourself can actually be a form of self-care. This is now a challenge to us, especially if it's something that we cannot, if we stop doing when we became busy, when we went out for work. Okay. That's why I said, please, mental health is a concern from childhood, okay, onwards. Okay? As young as we are, okay, let's try to promote good mental health practices in our children. Let's try to instill. Okay? You ask them what makes them feel good, okay? And you ask them to practice this. Okay? So that eventually when they go out to school, when they go out to the community, they may actually start promoting or advocating mental health. Okay? You see now, it started from the individual in the homes, and then it will go out to the community. And it might have a very wide impact now in our, okay, society. So with this is something that I realized with this pandemic. Everything shut down. Okay? With the pandemic, lahat nagsara, everything, especially the stores, the malls, okay? It has to close down. Okay? So this pandemic, the essential and the non-essential were spelled out. Okay? Rules were crafted, rules like stay at home, wear your face mask, wear your face shield. Okay? Rules were crafted because you are the most essential. And I hope that you realize and feel the same. I hope that you realize your essence and feel that you are essential and that you are vital. Okay? So with this one, okay, thank you so much. Okay? And have a nice day. And try squeezing in a 5-minute mental health practice in every day. Okay? So thank you so much.